Hey guys, so today's video is going to be something a little bit different. If you've noticed, I haven't been uploading any wrap-ups. Like, I uploaded one in January and then didn't upload any at all for the rest of the year so far. That's because I'm changing the way I do my wrap-ups. So this is going to be a best and worst of January and February. So I'm not going to talk about every single thing I read in January and February. If you want to know every single thing I read in these 2 months, you can look in the description. I'll include every title and the rating I gave them. If you want to know, and if you have any questions about any of those, like my opinions or my specific thoughts on those, you can ask me in the comments and I'll answer those. But for this video, I'm just going to be talking about the absolute best books I read in January and February and the absolute worst. So hopefully this works better as a wrap-up style because I don't like the monthly wrap-ups because sometimes I have a bunch to talk about and sometimes I don't have any to talk about. And the other wrap-up style where I picked a bunch of books to talk about in one video just wasn't working out because there were too many videos and too many books. I was getting behind too far to film those properly. So I decided to do it this way. This way I can film it every 2 months after I catch up a little bit. So yeah, let's jump right in with the best books I read in January and February. So first, one of the best books I read in January was Talons of Power by 2AT Sutherland. This is the 9th book in the Wings of Fire series. I did finish the series in January, I believe. I'm not including the 10th book in this best and worst of 2018, but I did enjoy it. But for this one focuses more on Turtle, and before this book, I didn't care about Turtle, like, at all, but now I really think he's an interesting character, and I really enjoy him. I did talk about this one in the one wrap-up video I filmed, so if you want to see more thoughts, go there. I gave this one like a 4 stars out of 5, maybe a 4.5. Next, I read The Dinner by Herman Koch. Now, this is a book, I don't want to say too much about it just because I feel like people should just jump right into it, but no, it's about this family who go to a dinner together to talk about, these two families, they go to a dinner together to talk about something their teenage children have done, and this surprised me a lot. I was not expecting anything like this. This was on my list of books I need to read in 2018, so I completed that, and it was fantastic. But just be aware that it does say chilling, nasty, smart, shocking, and unputdownable on the cover. So yeah, just be careful with this book, I want to say, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I loved basically every second of it. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I actually listened to the audiobook, which I usually don't give that high of a rating to audiobooks. I don't know why. It's just something about it lowers my enjoyment of the book. But this one I enjoyed immensely, and I would definitely recommend it if you're careful. The characters in this are all completely disgusting. They're all terrible people. You're not supposed to like them, which might lower some people's enjoyment of it, but it actually raised my enjoyment of this book. And yeah, I don't want to say anything else just because it's very easy to spoil this book, and I want people to just go ahead and read it if you're careful. And yeah, that's all I have to say about this book. It was really good. Next is my first full 5-star rating of the year, I believe, and this is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. This book was fantastic. It follows a crew of people and their adventures, basically. The only thing that disappointed me about this book is that this is the only book following this specific group of people. The second book I thought would be a direct sequel, but it follows a character who is in this book, but not all of the characters. Yeah, this was just very fun and heartwarming. It has lots of character interactions I really enjoy, and I just love everything about the characters and the journey they go on, both literally and together. And yeah, this just is a great book, and I'll probably be rereading it sometime in the future. Next, I read Dear Martin by Nick Stone. This is about a boy who has a violent interaction with a police officer, and then he starts writing letters to Martin Luther King Jr. to kind of cope with what happened to him. And yeah, this was really gritty and emotional. So yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about this. It's just an important book along with The Hate U Give. I've not read The Hate U Give, but I'm sure it's amazing just like this one was. I gave this a 4.5 out of 5 stars, and I would definitely read something else from this author. And then lastly, for the best section of this video, I have More Than This by Patrick Ness. I've had this book on my shelf for over 3 years, and I believe this is the only Patrick Ness book I own that I hadn't yet read before this, and I don't know why I waited so long. And this is another one that was on my list of books I need to complete in 2018, and I loved it. I loved every second of it. It's definitely not what I was expecting. I don't really know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this, and it gave me emotions that I wasn't expecting it to give me. And the ending kind of terrified me, and I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what was going to happen in the last 50 pages. And yeah, once again, I think Patrick Ness is like one of my favorite authors. I really need to reread the Chaos Walking trilogy soon, and I just loved everything about this. It is only a standalone, so if you don't really like series, check this out. I haven't talked about what it's about yet. So it's actually about a boy who drowns and then wakes up afterwards. And that's all I want to say because, like I said, this is not what I was expecting from this book. So yeah, this is another one I would definitely recommend. I think I gave this like 4.75 out of 5, rounded up to 5 stars. So now we're getting to the worst books I read recently, and I only have 3 to talk about, so this part won't be very long, but the ones I did read, I have some pretty strong opinions about, so let's just jump right in with those. So first, I have A Stranger in the House by Shelly. This was just the biggest waste of time. I've forgotten everything that happened in this book, I think, and I'm pretty sure I was disappointed by the ending again, even though I didn't like the rest of the book. I don't know if I'll be reading anything else by this author. I just felt like it was such a waste of time. The only reason I finished it is because I was listening to the audiobook, and it was only like 7 hours, I think, and it was a thriller, so it went by pretty fast. So yeah, that's that. I gave it 1 star just for being a waste of time and not interesting me in the slightest, even though it was a thriller, so I feel like it should have been interesting to me. And then the last 2 things I have to talk about in this video go together. So I reread A Darker Shade of Magic, so I could read A Gathering of Shadows, and then theoretically finish the series with The Conjuring of Light. But I reread this. I don't know what I saw in it the first time I read it. The first time I read it, I gave it 4 stars. Second time, I gave it 2 stars, if I'm being generous. So yeah, I don't know why I liked this the first time, because I literally hate every single character in this book. In this book, we'll talk about this one in a second. But yeah, I didn't like this book. I liked the plot the second time. I mean, I think I liked it the first time, but I liked the plot for the most part. Yeah, I gave it 2 stars. I don't like the characters. The characters somehow get worse in this one. So let's just talk about this one, shall we? So if you'll see, this one is quite a bit longer than the first one, and that's because there are 350 pages of build-up for a competition thing. This competition was terribly written. I felt like it just focused on the 2 main characters and literally didn't talk about anyone else the whole time, so there was no like, oh, who's gonna win, maybe they'll lose. Nope, you know who is gonna win. The competition was wrapped up in like 50 pages, and then something else happened to like raise the stakes a bit, but the 350 pages of build-up, nothing happened. Like literally nothing happened. They introduced a new character that I despise for some reason, and I don't know why. I don't know why I hate this character. I don't know why. He has no like unlikable characteristics. I just don't like him. Yeah, and I realized that every other character in this book is either really boring or just incredibly annoying. So I'm not going to be continuing on with this series. I gave this book 1 star because it was bad, and I kind of wish I hadn't finished it. But I did. So I'm not going to be reading the 3rd book. If you already saw my unhaul, which you probably did, you'll know I'm getting rid of these books. Yeah, I'm done with these. I probably won't be reading any other V.E. Schwab books because I just don't enjoy her writing for some reason. I wish I did because they seem fun in theory, but I just don't like them. So yeah, that's that. So yeah, those were the best and worst books I read in January and February. I'm going to be filming the March and April version of this video right after this. But I would really appreciate your comments, your thoughts, your opinions on this style of video and whether it's an efficient wrap-up style. And once again, I want to remind you that I'm going to include a list of every single book I read in the description, so if you want to know my thoughts, I'm also including my rating for those. So if you want to know my thoughts on those, just let me know, and I'll answer those in the comments, on Goodreads, on Twitter, wherever you want to ask them. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.